this matter? If that's the case, I see that that's the case. MP Westcott Williams, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair Lady, and a good afternoon to you and our support staff. A good afternoon to my colleagues here in the meeting. A good afternoon to the Prime Minister and his support staff. Welcome to this meeting. A good afternoon to all. Madam Chair Lady, through you to the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, is it possible that we receive an overview of the mutations in the population of St. Maarten over the year 2024? So the starting position, the changes based on whatever incidence is, and then the amount as per December 2024. Secondly, Madam Chair Lady, if the Prime Minister can request and provide us with an update on the Dutch-American Friendship Treaty, Dutch-American Treaty, actually. If we can receive an update on that. I think I posed this question in a previous meeting, but I have not received an answer per se. But I would like to know what is the status of that, because I remember, maybe it was to the Minister of Justice, recalling that while many persons feel that this treaty is not reciprocal, yes. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Nevertheless, it is applicable. And so I would like to know a status on it. We have seen where several years ago, someone successfully on St. Maarten claimed that treaty, or claimed rights on the basis of that treaty. And yes, so if we can get an update on that. And there is also a treaty between the Kingdom and the United States of America regarding Social Security. Let me add that I know that in the case of the latter, it is only applicable to the European part of the Kingdom. But I would like to know if via the Kingdom government, the Prime Minister can ascertain some information regarding this existing treaty, albeit that it actually applies to the Netherlands as a country, because it states it's applicable to the European territory of the Dutch Kingdom. So I would like to know, especially given the happenings of late, globally speaking, I would like to really get an update on those treaties. And again, I know the one regarding Social Security does not apply to the countries in the Caribbean, or at least that was not the intention when it was first signed off and ratified. Yet I would like to know regarding it, regarding that treaty. And Madam Chair Lady, that's it for now. Those few additional questions to the Prime Minister, while thanking him for the information, which, as you indicated, was also provided via IS 334, I believe it was. So thank you very much.
Thank you, MP Westcott Williams. Is there another member of Parliament that would like to have the floor? That seems to be the case. MP Otley, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I don't really have any question. I just want to thank the Honourable Prime Minister for his answers. Some of the answers I found very enlightening. As you know, Madam Chair, yourself and my person has submitted two draft legislations to address the issue faced by many, being one stateless, being two born in St. Maarten for many, many years and have no documents. So some of these answers actually answered questions that the advisory body requested my person to ask. So I thank you for the information provided to you. Thank you to you and your staff.
Thank you, MP Otley. I now give the floor to MP Doran.
Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. Good afternoon to you, my colleagues, the Honourable Prime Minister, support staff, and the people of St. Maarten that are tuned in. Madam Chair Lady, I heard a response given by the Prime Minister regarding registration and the deregistration, actually, which was posed by our faction. I would like to get some clarity on the point through you, Madam Chair. Is it possible for civil registry to deregister someone without their permission while they were actually in person at the civil registry? Is that possible? And if so, what procedure, policy, or rule can be used in order to deregister someone? What are the different steps that can be taken to deregister someone? Thank you.
Thank you, MP Doran. I'm not seeing that there are other members that would like to have the floor. Oh, sorry. MP La Cruz? You have the floor.
A blessed evening, good afternoon. It feels like evening already. A blessed afternoon, Madam Chairlady, Rifir, Prime Minister, and the support staff, my colleagues, and those listening. Madam Chairlady, through you to the Prime Minister, thank you for the answers to the questions that I asked. And there is one more question that came to me about a week ago concerning people that left or that are living in the U.S. that during the census were written out and cannot write into the U.S. because they're studying or doing whatever, but now are now written out of St. Maarten also. So if there's a plan for that, and what would these individuals have to do, seeing that they can't even renew their passports being away in the embassy because they're not written in and also not written in here. Thank you, Madam Chairlady.
Thank you, MP La Cruz. At this point, there are no other members that would like to have the floor. The questions that were posed by the members of Parliament, Prime Minister, would you be able to answer them right away, or do you need some time? If so, how much time would you need? You have the floor.
Actually, there are four questions. One is, of course, we need more time, especially for the first one, that we will have to go back and check all the invitations that MP Sarah Westcott-Williams asked over the year 2024. We have to look into the treaty that the MP asked for too. And for these two, I can send them, if you agree, Madam President, for me to send them in writing to Parliament. And of course, also combine it immediately with the procurement that has to be followed, as MP Doran asked, for the deregistration and the authority of the civil registry concerning the whole procedure of deregistration of persons here in St. Maarten. And of course, also the procedure about the writing out of the census. How does that work if they're written out after the census and they're in the United States, they're not getting through with their papers? What is the advice and the process that we have to follow to get it straight back? So if you don't mind, President, I would like to, if you agree with, to send all these in writing for you. And I think in 1-2 weeks I will have this ready for you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Before coming to that conclusion, I would like to know if there's any objection to receiving the answers in writing. And I'm also seeing that MP Westcott-Williams would like to have the floor. You have the floor, MP Westcott-Williams.
Thank you once again, Madam Chair Lady. And it was actually to request or suggest that the answers, at least my answers, can be sent in writing. I'm glad to hear the Prime Minister even given a time frame. I think that's important for the answers. And secondly, I want to revert back to something the Prime Minister indicated, and that is some information sessions regarding the Dutch nationality in collaboration with the Office of the Governor. And I just wanted to thank the Prime Minister because I had asked if that could take place to explain all those interested persons. And so I am glad to hear that. Did I hear, let me ask this first, if that one had taken place and it is to be followed up? So has such an information session taken place to be followed up in February? And I would just like whether that is, but in any case, it's to say thanks for having started that process. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady.
Thank you, MP Westcott-Williams. Prime Minister, would you be able to answer that question from MP Westcott-Williams?
I appreciate the acknowledgement in the first place, and secondly, the first session will take place on the 19th of February 2025.
Thank you, Prime Minister, and I'll give the floor to MP Doran.
Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. In principle, I don't have an issue with receiving the answer in writing, but I think the point where what are the procedures for deregistration? I mean, you can't tell me that that would be something too difficult to, give a response now. The reason why I'm asking that, Madam Chair, is because although not being in the executive branch, time and time again, as representatives, we receive calls and concerns from individuals, which I received one most recent, which was quite disturbing. I was basically told that someone was deregistered while being a student. When applying back for their study financing that they were receiving, was blocked because they're not registered. So that is the reason why I would like to get some clarity. How can someone deregister someone without their permission? A student being deregistered, blocked from acquiring their study financing because they're not registered while they're away on our dime, so to speak. So that is what I would like clarity on. And I think that 2 weeks might be too late. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady.
Thank you, MP Doran. Prime Minister, do you need some time should I adjourn for 5 minutes? Yes. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have, thank God, the right technical support around me. And if, with your indulgence, I will ask you to adjourn the meeting for 10 minutes, and I will come back to give answer immediately to the MP. No problem.
No problem. Meeting adjourned for 10 minutes. Good afternoon. I hereby reopen the committee meeting of General Affairs and give the floor to the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, President. Coming back to the question of MP Doran, based on the basic administration law, the deregistration takes place by the individual, him or herself, or in case that person authorizes a other person to deregister him or her. That is how it must go. When students leave for school, they deregister to in St. Maarten. The law on the basic administration indicates that if you are not living here for more than 8 months a year, you have to also deregister. However, students from going to the United States that are in the United States once attending school are not deregistered. So with this situation that you indicated that has some urgency, it leaves the question what happened exactly. And this is a case that requires a further investigation to determine what transpired in this case. And I strongly encourage the individual or the families to reach out to the civil registry for us to do the necessary check on what has transpired specifically in this specific case. But coming back to your question, it's the person himself, or in case he or she authorizes somebody, then a person can be deregistered. There is, of course, at this particular moment, in the recent past, ongoing, and we will be busy with it, is the whole cleanup of the civil registries taking place now. And in this case, it can be, I'm not telling you that is the case, but it can be that in this transaction period, something could have happened that the student was, for example, if it's a student, I don't know, would have been abroad when this took place. A letter has been sent, perhaps or not, a second letter, nobody reacted, and then you are going to be deregistered. But I do not know what happened, but in principle, it's a case for us to pay urgent attention to. And I request you wholeheartedly, please, especially because it's a person working on his future, for us to for sure look with the family and or the student himself for us to make sure that we are not going to hamper the future of a person like that. So please invite the person to take contact with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prime Minister. I would like to thank the Prime Minister and Minister of General Affairs, Dr. Luc Mercelina, and his support staff for their presence here today in providing the necessary information to the members of Parliament of this committee. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to an end of this agenda point. The Prime Minister has committed that he will be sending the relevant documents as requested by the members of Parliament. Once received, those documents will be provided to the members. So I thank everyone for their participation. Due to the fact that agenda point 1 still needs to be handled, this meeting will be adjourned until further notice.